All right, thanks, Brooke. With serious staffing shortages at the Orleans Parish DA's office, Jason Williams is asking for help, and it's coming from a seemingly unusual place.
Meg Ferris joins us now to explain help will be coming from a name lots of people are very familiar with. Meg.
Katie and Devin, we talked to two attorneys about this new arrangement, and they said it's really not all that new. And they're already in Louisiana Supreme Court guidelines in place to make sure it's done ethically, and there are no attorney-defendant conflicts of interest.
One call, that's all.
Attorney Bart is known for his commercials asking to handle your lawsuits in car wrecks and personal injuries. So some citizens are surprised to hear his firm will now handle case screenings, combing through evidence and police reports, then recommending to the DA if he should prosecute or not. So we asked experienced attorneys, will it work outsourcing a governmental job to a private law firm?
There's nothing improper about the DA getting assistance from private lawyers in this situation. Ultimately, the DA has got to make the decision whether to refuse charges or whether to prosecute someone.
Loyola law professor Dane Cialino believes civil attorneys don't need specific criminal law knowledge to fairly apply the law, and says this could speed up the screening process.
Right now, it takes an extraordinarily long time, particularly in felony cases, for the DA to make these decisions.
This could speed things up, and they need them if they can get experienced lawyers who know criminal law, because criminal law is very different than civil law. It's not, one call, that's all.
Partner at Chaff McCall law firm Walter Becker says it's best for screening lawyers to have criminal trial experience. He was a prosecutor in the DA's office in the early 80s and says the DA outsourced screening back then too, and it worked out well, but under different circumstances.
So I'm not sure they were brought in at that time because there was a crisis. I think we got a crisis right now. We've got a crisis of crime, a crisis of arrest, a crisis of prosecution, and so this is a question of need.
Even if the DA's office had all of the resources it needed to screen cases, there's still something to be gained for getting the community involved in law enforcement and public safety.
Both attorneys commend this work being done pro bono or at no cost to the city.
I think Mr. Bart ought to be applauded for volunteering his people pro bono, his lawyers pro bonos, because lawyers obviously have timesheets.
Now, the DA's office would not comment on camera for us, but emailed this partnership will ensure they are meeting the demands of a busy docket. And Bart told us today he will comment at a press conference tomorrow afternoon at the DA's office.
All right, thank you, Meg.